welcome to the December 4th, 2023 Grafton Board of Health meeting. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, this meeting of the Grafton Board of Health is being conducted with both in-person and remote participation by board members and members of the public. Remote participation by the public, any matter for which the board allows public participation, will be via the Zoom raise hand feature. If you raise your hand on Zoom, you will be enabled at an appropriate point to enter the meeting via voice or video to make a comment or ask a question. In all cases, whether in person or remote, please identify yourself by name and address for the record. Every vote will be taken by roll call. Please note that this meeting is being recorded. As a preliminary matter, this is Jennifer Maynard, Vice Chair of the Board of Health. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Karen Gwiazdowski-Govin.
Karen Gwiazdowski-Govin here.
Dan Finn.
Dan Finn here.
Austin Magnet.
Austin Magnet's present.
Bill Muller.
Bill Muller here.
Thank you. Staff and anticipated speakers on the agenda, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. I don't see Nancy. I don't see Beth.
This is Karen. Nancy may be call-in user 1.
Oh, let's see. Amelia Houghton.
Here, present.
If I can see her. Let's see. Karina Scott.
Hi, Karina.
Here.
Thank you. Ian Wong.
Here.
Thank you. Devin Thornton.
Devon Thornton here.
I do it every time.
That's okay.
Thank you. I don't see anybody else. And Rob is not Rob. That is us signed in on Dan's tablet. All right, let me see if I can find Karen. I mean, not Karen. Nancy. I don't see her. See if you can find Nancy.
Show up.
It's like, where's Waldo?
I know. I don't see her on there.
Nancy, you call-in user 1? If you can hear us.
There are 7 people there, but I don't see.
Austin can take notes.
She might be under attendees. It looks like call-in user 1 is under attendees and Gina's under attendees.
Oh, there she is. Thank you.
And Gina is allowed to talk too.
Oh, good. All right.
Can you hear me now? Yeah.
We can hear you
Jen,
now.
can you hear me?
Yep.
Thank you.
Nancy Connor's present.
Thank you, Nancy Connors. Gina Tadeo.
Here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We appreciate the patience with the technical issues. All right. I would like to open the meeting. Can I get a motion to open the meeting?
Yep, this is Dan Finn. I'd like to make a motion to open this meeting.
Second.
This is Bill Muller. I second that motion.
Roll call.
Dan Finn, aye.
Bill Muller, aye.
Austin Magnet, aye.
Karen Gwiazdowski-Govin, aye.
Jen Maynard, aye. All right. All right. First on the agenda is the Alliance update.
Devon, do you want to go?
Okay. So for the month of November 4th till December 1st, there were 14 inspections, 14 food inspections. We just had one general complaint at 3 North Street. The complaint was about an issue with roaches. The owner of the property had the property exterminated a week prior. So usually when there's an extermination, you get an influx of activity. But upon our inspection, I didn't see any activity at all. There was also a complaint about a cabinet that was in the hallway. An update on that is I spoke to the property manager. It should be gone tomorrow.
Devon, what about the issue with them cooking with the grill on the fire escape? Was that
Yes.
addressed too?
Yes, fire prevention actually went over and addressed the issue and sent them an order. They've actually removed the grill from the porch and are no longer using it. I spoke to that to those occupants the same day I went to inspect.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Devon, speaking of that address, it seems to me before you were on board, maybe 6 months ago or 8 months ago, we had a complaint there about excessive trash in front of the house or something, but just to keep it on your radar, I think that might be a second
Okay.
complaint about that particular location.
Peak place. Yeah. Great.
Will do.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Okay, we had septic plan reviews on here and food inspections, all look good. Let's see. Amelia, you wanna go through updates?
Yes, so I'll do the clinical updates. So in terms of case investigation, for the month of November, we had reported 21 cases for COVID, and 5 for flu. And as you know, and as we always say, that doesn't represent what's real and what's out there, because people are testing or not testing and they're infected. So those are the numbers for November. We didn't have any information on outbreaks, so all quiet on that front. In terms of the blood pressure screenings that we do on a monthly basis, our regional public health nurse, Molly, went to the housing authority on the scheduled day, and she had 2 clients. She went to the senior center on the scheduled day, and she had 20. And then Maxwell Drive location, 0. So what we're doing is we've changed the schedule for January in response to Maxwell Drive really coming up 0 every month, pretty much. We decided we're going to lengthen the senior center session to include blood pressures, and she will help anyone who needs help filling out file of life cards, as well as the housing authority location, 9 Forest Lane. We will include file of life card review or help with filling out during their blood pressure session. Since that one's pretty slow, she can do both. So that's one change for the new year. In terms of vaccines, I can only offer COVID and flu to the uninsured, at least for the time being. And if somebody is homebound and they call in, I can or we can certainly go and vaccinate them in their homes. That's not a problem. Let's see, topic of the month for December is weather emergencies. Hopefully those flyers got out, and if they didn't, we can resend them. And I think, I don't know if Karen, you're going to talk about current news topics. The Hep A is in the news and the pneumonia from China, but in terms of the Hep A, UMass is planning to start vaccine clinic outreach on Wednesday. So I will try to help them with that. And that's mainly for the Worcester community. They've had cases. We haven't seen them through Maven at this point, but they're cases that would have been hospitalized. And there are cases throughout Massachusetts as well. So we're just trying to get ahead of this outbreak. That's really it.
Yeah, Amelia, this is Karen. I mean, feel free if you want to touch on the pneumonia. It doesn't matter whether it's you or me. You probably know more about it than I do, because you're closer to it than I am in terms of what's out there for data. And I know it's a mycoplasma pneumonia.
Yeah.
It looks like.
We're still waiting. Right now, getting news reports, and Dr. Hirsch is on top of that. And there's a group in Worcester that will be meeting to discuss the weekly updates on it. So as soon as we find out something concrete, we'll get it out to the rest of you. But we are a little concerned.
Yeah.
So.
The only other one I had was, it's not human, but the dog disease that we're seeing out there also, that you've been hearing about in the public. I know it's not human related, but there's plenty of animal folks, where there's some type of, it's not kennel cough, it's some type of, and I think it was UNH that might have started to work to figure out or found at least part of the bacterium for it out there. And I've been seeing, even though not as a dog owner, but seeing enough out there in terms of like, some vets are saying, don't bring your dog to dog parks, don't let them share communal water bowls, et cetera, keep them out of doggy daycare, keep them out of grooming. Whereas others are not there yet in terms of that guidance. But something I was going to bring, that was the only other topic that I had in terms of new things out there, or newsworthy new diseases potentially out there, just to mention in case people haven't seen it, that listen to our Board of Health meeting but haven't seen it on the news yet and have dogs or a dog. Just something out there to be mindful of, because there's still some unknown in terms of that also.
Yeah, and then just to add to that, we were just talking about this in the room. I think RSV numbers continue to be on the rise with both kids and in particular seniors, for which there are vaccines now available, not through us, but through healthcare providers for folks that are interested. And certainly with the holidays coming up, the current recommendation is, of course, for folks to, test before going to a large gathering, especially if you're not feeling well, and of course get your most up-to-date vaccine that you're available to have, just to try and stay well during those times. Anything to add on all the bugs?
Excuse me, Jen.
Yes, Nancy.
We in the Board of Health office have a few kits that we're giving out, COVID testing kits to the public.
Yes.
If anybody wants one, they can just come in and take it. There's 5 test kits to one box.
Awesome.
Wow.
Folks can also, I believe, go back on the USPS website and get,
Yep.
I think it's 4 tests per household or something like that again.
Yep.
Yep, two packs, right?
2 boxes, yep. 4 tests. Thank you for that.
Are there tests for RSV yet? Can you test for RSV?
I don't know that you could do a home kit. I don't think
There's
you
no
have a
home
test
test
kit.
for it,
Right,
no.
but they could test in,
At the doctor's office?
yeah, at the doctor's office.
Like probably a mini clinic or something, or your doctor's office.
Or the hospital.
Yeah.
All those things.
Yeah, we think that you can do at home. At least, I mean, not at this point in time.
Okay. Opioid settlement funds. Any updates?
Sure. This is Bill Muller. Dan and I attended a session at the Uxbridge Police Headquarters last week. And it was largely an informational meeting, but they are putting forth a proposition that each town in the Blackstone Valley contribute to or contribute a portion of their opioid settlement funds to a program which is in existence but potentially could be expanded, which would provide counseling for people who had either overdoses or had been identified as people who were afflicted with opioid use. The chief of police was there as well, and one of the points that he made was that if an ambulance is called for someone in Grafton, they're normally not taken to Milford Hospital, where most of the people from the Blackstone Valley will go, but rather are taken usually to one of the Worcester hospitals. But I think it is something that is worthy of at least some consideration. They did have some information about the number of overdoses that had happened in each of the towns of the Blackstone Valley over the last 3 years. Grafton was noted to have 94 overdoses, which is quite a startling number. A bigger number than I would have expected.
Sure.
And actually have had 4 fatalities over 3 years. So I think there are a number of issues that have to do with how we wish to proceed. One is, I think we need to further clarify the status of our committee. Karina had organized a session, how long ago? I forget, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. Yeah, and we had identified a number of interested parties. I mean, certainly this program that they're talking about has some merit. I would be interested, though, in hearing what similar sort of programs exist in Worcester County, because obviously, given our relationship to the Alliance and so forth, that's where most of our collaboration comes from.
That makes sense.
This obviously is not focusing on education in the schools or anything that would be more of a preventative program.
Yeah, if I can pipe up, this is Dan. Yeah, tomorrow evening we have another meeting, and Karina, incidentally, I think it's scheduled 3:30 to 5. I just saw a notice of some kind of an emergency meeting from 3 to 4 from the Department of Public Health. I don't know if that's going to affect us, if we'll have to move to 4 or not.
That's the HEPA meeting, I think, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
If some of you folks have to attend that, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I think down the road there is some merit. We'll have to discuss it, and we'll have to actually get formed as a committee. And personally, I think we're going to have to reach out to our town administrator and select board chair, make sure they're in the loop, and sort of get blessed by them, so to speak, because eventually we're going to be looking to disperse some funds, and we're going to need to be in the right position to do that. So we're going to have a lot more information, I think, after tomorrow's meeting. So by January we'll be able to beef everybody up
Great.
on that.
What this organization was suggesting is that each town be asked to pay $2 per resident annually. And Grafton is 19,815 residents, according to their math. So our contribution would be $39,000 annually. Our yearly opioid allocation is about $85,000.
Yeah, that's true. They came up with a number 82, 84 or something, which we had heard 62. So again, it's
Right.
that's a little up in the air too. We have to dig a little deeper
Yeah.
on a lot of this stuff.
Some of these distributions, so apparently are going to go on for a number of years.
Up to 18 years.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
what they had said, yeah.
Although
If the Supreme Court decides against the Sackler settlement, it may disrupt a lot of this.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I could give us an update as well, and my voice is going in and out for some reason, so forgive me if I have to repeat myself. I can, just let me know.
Mhm.
Just to give an update, I did send out an email for tomorrow meeting from, I believe it's 3:30 to 5. Some folks from the Alliance Town will be going to the HEP-A emergency meeting, so I will be able to still host the meeting. So I don't think there'll be a disruption if everyone can still attend. This time around, we do have Jay Cummings from the school district to be there because I think that was missing at our first meeting. And in the agenda, we are going to talk about the November 30th meeting at the Blackstone meeting that everyone attended to. I did send out a summary of the meeting as well. I think the chief of police had some concerns that some of the programming wouldn't fit for all the residents in Grafton, just by the demographics. So I think that's something of concern to him. So I think we can definitely discuss further during tomorrow's meeting. I do think we can have some options if you know, depending on the conversation, if what's being offered is appealing, but it just demographically doesn't work. I think we can have a conversation with the organizer of the meeting because they're also expressed interest in expanding as well. So we can also look into that and we can go further into it tomorrow as well. In terms of the disbursement of funds, I did get an update on that from Mary from Grafton. She also said that on November 21st, it was brought up to the select board and they've also agreed that the subcommittee will be in charge of dispersing of the funds. Definitely, we can always let them know what we're going to do with that, but they've given us, the subcommittee and the chairs, the approval process. And Mary will help us guide it whenever we have an idea that we want to fund for that.
Great.
Yeah, that's good.
So, yeah.
Thanks, Karina, Dan, and Bill for taking the lead on that.
Yeah.
It's great work. Okay, I think that's Alliance and other updates. We're not going to go through any minutes today, my favorite part of the meeting. I don't have any old business. Do we have any old business that we want to bring up? Nancy?
This is Karen. I think at this point,
Not that I can-
yeah, I'd say the only thing I can think of is I think at this point we're probably past tick and mosquito season.
Would you be surprised? There's still very many ticks out there with the warm weather, but just they're smaller.
Okay,
they don't know what to do.
mosquito season at least.
Mosquitoes, I think, are gone.
We are getting tick cases, believe it or not.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, I'll take that back. Not ticks, mosquitoes. So
People should.
no, we can. After last meeting, I couldn't make any statement about that because it was still too warm at that point. But at least now we can say no more Triple E and West Nile concerns currently.
Jen, I have a question for Nancy. Nancy, traditionally, up until COVID, we would get together at the end of December or very early January to sign permits. And then I think Julie helped us out with that for a while. How do we stand now, and what's the sort of deadline or timetable of doing those?
Question.
The deadline for all renewals is December 12th. And Beth and I are going through each one, and Devon will be signing all the permits.
Oh, great.
Ooh, thank you, Devon.
Yeah, thanks.
That's good.
You're welcome.
All right.
So many signatures.
That's a good old business question to have. All right. Let's see. I didn't see any correspondence or mail that we needed to bring forth.
No, I sent you everything.
Thank you. And for upcoming meetings, we have, it's hard to believe it's going to be 2024 next month, but we have a remote meeting planned for January 8th, another hybrid for February 5th, March 4th hybrid, and April 8th remote. All right. I don't see anything else. Did anybody have any other items?
Nope.
Would somebody like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting and wish everyone a Merry Christmas.
Oh my gosh, that's that's crazy.
I second that.
All right,
Gotta get shopping.
we need
Tell me about it.
a vote.
Dan Finn, aye.
Bill Muller, aye.
Austin Magnan, aye.
Karen Gustowski, go and I.
Jen Maynard, aye. Thank you all. Happy holiday season. What's left of it.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good night, all.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.